So the first thing I'm going to show you how to do in Photoshop is apply text to the photo. You're going to go and select your text tool on the left hand tool panel and just click on the image. Now you can type in your text that you want it to say. You can go up to the top here and select your font of choice. You can move it around, make it bold, change the size, and then I'm going to show you how to do text effects. You're going to go down to the effects button and click drop shadow. I'll show you how to do drop shadow. So here, these sliders will change settings about the drop shadow. As you can see, when I move this distance slider, it's changing the distance of the shadow from the text, and the angle will change which way the light for the shadow is coming from. So I'm going to adjust this distance down to about 11, change the angle a little bit, and you have other sliders down here to choose from, such as size. I'll move the distance down a little bit, and the opacity is how dark it is, so you can make it darker or lighter, and that looks about good, so I'm going to say OK. So let's say you wanted to change something about the text you wrote. You just have to select the text tool again and click on their text, and you can add anything you'd like back into the line of text. The third thing I'm going to show you how to do in Photoshop is cropping. You're just going to select the crop tool, and you can drag the corners of the image anywhere you'd like. And this is going to take a part of the image away when you click enter. And it's that simple. That's the crop tool. Next, I'm going to show you the shape tool. I'm going to click on the little square rectangle down there, and I'm going to add a shape to the image. To make our shape, I'm just going to click and drag a rectangle. You would click and drag a circle if you were making a circle, and if you wanted to resize it, you'd have to do Command T on a Mac to transform. And once I have this where I want it, I'm just going to fill it with a gradient. Actually, that's going to be the next tool I'm going to show you, is the gradient tool. So to fill this rectangle with a gradient, you're first going to have to select the layer that the rectangle's on, and then go to your shape tool and go up to the color. For the color, you're going to select gradient, and for this you can select your colors. I'm going to be using black and clear with this one here, black and transparent. Down here with these numbers and this little slider, you can rotate this little bar to change the angle in which the gradient changes from one color to the next. And I'd like to make this sort of at a slight angle, changing from black to clear with black on the left. So I'm just going to change this, experiment with this angle here. And you see that the drop bar says linear. You could actually make a gradient circular if you'd like. So I think I like this one here. And I'm just going to move this up a little bit, back with the move tool. And once you have it where you like it, we can move on to the clone stamp tool. So here I'm going to zoom in on something I want to erase on the image. So just for the purposes of demonstration, I'm going to select this strange rock right here, and I'm going to erase it with the clone stamp tool. To use the clone stamp tool, you're going to have to select the layer that we're going to be editing and hold down the option key till you see this cursor, and then click with the option key, and then you can just paint over the thing that you want to erase, and it's going to fill it with the texture that you clicked on with the option key. And that's just as simple as it is. You can do that for any part of the image, and just make sure you have the right texture selected with the option key. And you cannot even tell that rock was there. So the next thing we're going to be doing is the quick selection tool. I'm going to be trying to get rid of the blue sky. So I'm going to do the quick selection and just drag over the blue sky here. So once this little dotted moving line is filling the entire space you want to cut out, you're going to go down to the bottom and click the layer masking tool. And that's the next tool I'm going to show you how to use, the layer masking, which gets rid of the entire selected area but keeps it in case you wanted to add it back, so it's non-destructive. So as you can see, it missed a little bit of sky down here, so I'm going to try to get that out with the quick selection as well. I'm going to go back to the quick selection, go up here and change the size of the brush, and I'm going to do the same exact thing that I just did. Instead, now you can just hit delete and it will add it to the layer mask. So as you can see, there's still a little bit of blue, like a line in between right there. I'll try to zoom in now so you can see. So I'm going to get rid of that on the lasso tool. So I'm just going to select lasso tool and circle it and go ahead and click delete. It'll add it to layer mask and it's gone. And you can touch up anything that the other tool missed. Any sharp spots that you don't like. But that looks pretty good. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a folder here and drag in an image that I want to put in this new empty space that we have cut out. So I'm going to drag in that image, resize it, make it big to fit that space, and I'm going to put it behind our mountains canyon thing that we have here. So I'm going to hit enter, drag it behind that layer, and I'm going to move it around and resize it some more so it fits that space exactly. Do Command T again to transform, and I'm going to resize it and move it around until I think that that's where it needs to be behind these mountains. So I think that looks about good for size. So I'm just going to continue to move it around until I think it fits. I think I'll move it up some. And when I'm ready, I'm just going to hit enter and it'll be our background. Okay, so obviously I'm going to have to change the color of the text. So I'm just going to change that to white real quick inside the text tool. And I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to change the gradient as well by going back to the shape tool and going down here to change the color. And I'm going to just change that to white so it's easier to see, still going to transparent. And that looks a lot better. I think I'm going to move it over some, so I'm just going to select both those layers over here on the right. And I'm going to move the whole thing over here onto the left some. I'm going to speed this part up some, but what I did over here is I erased this one little hill mountain thing over here back with the quick selection tool, just like I showed you earlier. And then I used the lasso tool to make some final adjustments. So the last thing I'm going to show you how to do is change the hue and saturation of your photo. You're going to go up here to the hue and saturation button and you can slide around these sliders which are going to change the colors in your photo. I'm really just going to try to make this look more red, like it's from outer space, and to match the background I added in behind the mountains. So I'm just going to drag around these sliders until I think it looks good, change with the saturation and lightness mostly, and try to make it look like it's from outer space. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.